This is kind of the first video I'm posting on YouTube, but I have this ARC 6271 billet rod and this 224 Ducar block. It's made by Ducar, if you guys didn't know. Currently, I have the top of the cylinder. If I can get the right angle. Not the right angle. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right here, I currently have I have it clearanced just a tiny bit. I still have to go into the cylinder wall just a tiny little bit. And then along with up here for the connecting rod, well, the connecting rod bolt, I should say, because it doesn't have that clearance at the top. I'm looking for 30 thousandths. And then right here as well for the dipper, because it will smack the front of the block if you don't clear it. And then I am gonna have to start doing the bottom of the cylinder, but not that much. Sorry, the bottom of the cylinder right here, but not that much. So right now we have the bearing taped up so no metal shavings can get in there. And I'm just gonna shove a cloth into my cylinder, just like one of these cloths. Any cloth will really do, just so I don't have to clean all those metal shavings out, because there's gonna get a lot everywhere. That should be good, like that. I'm using this Dremel 4000, and I have like a whole set of carbide bits, like that. But I'm mostly using this one. I will probably switch around, but I've just been using only this one right now. I'm trying to think of a way. What is really going to be the best way to do this? I think I'm going to do the top of the cylinder first and just focus on that. I like to flip the block upside down because it's just easier to get to that spot with a Dremel. I usually grab a socket. This 12-point socket works pretty well as a stand for right here. It's just, I don't know. That's what I do every time. I don't know why, but I have this Sharpie. I kind of already have it marked and I know where I need to go, but I'm just gonna mark it with the Sharpie just to make sure I hit in that direction. You shouldn't mark it after you have it, like, I already know where I'm marking, so don't just randomly mark a random spot. Before you do any of this, eyeglasses or protection wear or whatever, definitely recommend, because there will be metal shavings everywhere, including your face. Don't mind this. Put a screwdriver right here and a separate phone, a flashlight, just so I have better lighting in here, and make sure my Dremel is tight. And we're just gonna go at it just a little bit. So I took a fat bit out of there. I don't know what kind of angles you guys got of that, but it is pretty smooth, and I did take a decent bit out, but I'm still gonna go a little bit more. So I think that will do for the top of the cylinder for at least this run. I am going to take a tiny bit out where this rod bolt hits at the top, and a tiny bit out of the block as well, just to run over where I messed up. And then I'll start doing the bottom of the cylinder as well. So I made it a little bit smoother, and I took it down just a tiny bit over here as well. I'm gonna be hitting everything with the sanding bit if I didn't say that, but just for now I am gonna check clearances. You do want to make sure your piston is smooth. That's why I keep feeling it, because it will scratch your piston if it's not. It feels pretty smooth to me, so I think I'm all right now. Let's flip the block around and get this dipper. Sorry if the camera angle is bad, by the way. This is the first time I've done this. I will get better. That's where the sockets come in handy, man. Right here. Perfect. Hopefully I can post this video and it's not too bad, but hopefully the angles are right. I'm just gonna smear this oil around right here because might as well. You should be oiling these tips when doing aluminum, but I usually don't. I haven't had a problem with it, like welding or whatever you want to call it. I'm not too sure what it does on the tip, but you do oil on it just to make sure it doesn't do that, because metal will get like basically welded to the tip of this if it gets too hot. So basically I have it drawn on already, but I already know where I need to take it out for the dipper, so I'm gonna go at it right now. Perfect. I'm sorry if the angle is bad, guys, but it's getting pretty smooth and I haven't hit it with the sanding bit yet. I'm currently deciding if I want to start on the bottom of the cylinder or not. I do have it marked, I believe, but I'm also kind of sketched out to go to the bottom of the cylinder. But yet again, I've taken out a lot of the top, so I mean, I think I'm gonna leave that for another video. I'm not too sure how long this video has been, but I'm gonna throw this block together and check the clearance right here right here for the rod bolt, and then right here for the dipper as well. I'm gonna leave that bottom for last because I'm kind of sketched out to do it at the moment. I just dropped my socket. It's all right. We don't need it right now. We're gonna fully wipe out clean this block with a clean rag. You can get it wet. I mean, I should probably get it wet actually. You can get it wet to pick up the metal shavings. It will help if they're all clumped up like that up there. One wipe, all the metal shavings are on there and they're stuck on there, you know. Just gonna try to get as much as possible with this one rag. Yet again, I'm sorry if the angle is bad, guys. I will look at the video and see what I'm doing wrong and then fix it in the next video if I make one. But I figured I'd make a video on YouTube. I try to be very careful and I try to get every little bit of metal spec I can, even though I'm not running the motor right now. I don't want that getting on my rod or in my rod or in my crank, you know, or on my crank, but not in it, but in between the crank and the rod. I'm not touching the cylinder with this napkin because it's probably full of metal shavings. I'll clean that out with a different one. Get as much as possible around though. Throw this to the side for later. I'll run my hands through because, you know, I don't really care, but it collects the metal. This napkin in the cylinder, I like to push it out and kind of spin it while I'm pushing it out so it gets all the metal shavings. Obviously it won't get all of the metal shavings, but it'll get most. I like to use my other flashlight to look down the cylinder. And there's a lot of metal shavings, so I am gonna clean that out. Won't be the best angle for you guys, but that's what I'm gonna do, so. I'm also gonna try not to cut like any of these videos either, so you guys know exactly what I'm doing. I probably am doing a few things wrong, but as long as the motor starts and it runs right, I think we got it down. Very picky about what's in the cylinder. I think you should be, just so it's not in between your cylinder walls and your piston, even if it's only being slapped in there for 2 seconds. I still am very picky. Yet again, I'm sorry that the angle is bad. Can't really show you guys in the piston while I clean it because this phone is on my chest. There's the inside of the piston. I don't know how. Not the piston, my bad. The cylinder. Getting a little mixed up. Make sure my fingers have no metal shavings on them. And I'm just gonna run my fingers through the piston. Why do I keep saying piston? Through the cylinder to pick any of that stuff up. I always look in there and make sure there's not even one speck. See, there's a speck right there. You can get it. Speck. You can get it. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna rip this bearing off. Or not the bearing. The tape on the bearing. And try to take it off in one piece. There we go. to the side, use that piece for later. I'm gonna run another napkin through my bottom end, because I use a lot of metal shavings still. Try to go for every crevice, even though that part won't even be touching that crevice, or there's not even be oil in it yet, but I'm just picky like that. That's probably also why it's taken me a few days to do this build. I'm trying to fix the camera angle. Sorry about someone dying in the background. It sounds like someone's puking. Like a family member. I'm not too sure. If you guys can even hear that, but so we're just gonna get these metal shavings out. I think I got most of the metal shavings out, at least of the major parts. And so now we're gonna start getting ready to put our crank and stuff in. Run our finger in here a little bit more just in case. I think it'll be alright. I'm gonna throw our crank in here. Like so. And most people use assembly lube, but I'm gonna be using this motor oil that I got from a gas station. It's just cheap motor oil, 10W30. Probably gonna break it in on this oil. Not recommended, but I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, to be honest. I just got this for like lubing. Basically, I got this for lube assembly, or assembly lube. So now, just dipping my fingers in this oil, this cap of oil. And I'm gonna oil up this cylinder for the piston. I don't think you should put them in dry. I don't think it will matter because what I'm doing, but I still put it in lubed up. It's a lot easier. Where's my hand rag? So now that the cylinder is all oiled up, we're gonna slap the piston in. I just got it over to the side over here, sitting in a box. Like I said, this is a ARC 6271 billet rod with a 70mm flat top piston. So one of my followers on TikTok told me to be very careful. What I like to do, I stick my fingers up here, and then I basically grab the end of the rod. Here, my bad. I put the rod into the head of the cylinder while grabbing it with my fingers from this side, so it doesn't make contact with the cylinder walls. And then I'll basically just put this piston in like so. Make sure it's level. I have no piston rings in there because they're not needed. We're not running the engine. Sometimes it'll slide in like butter, but that time I just give her a slap. Since I don't have the bottom of my cylinder clearanced, I will need to move this crank, and that's gonna be hard. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. I mean, I do kinda, just a little bit, but not right here. Make sure piston is straight. Give her a little few slapperooskies to get in there. And slide it on to the crank. I have it around bottom dead center. It might be a little off, but I like to have it around right there. Just gonna wipe my hands off just a tiny bit so I can grab some bolts and stuff. So this is the rod cap. I think that's what it's called. You wanna put a little bit of dab of oil on the top right here for those spacers. Just a tiny bit. I mean, I kind of put a lot, but you don't need that much. And then a little tiny bit right here so we don't wear these threads down, because we do this probably about 10 times, maybe 20. Yeah, it's a procedure. I'm also gonna oil up this rod bearing as well. Give my right hand a little wipe down while I still hold this in one hand without losing our bolts. What did I just lose? The sanding bit. It's alright. Now, I'm just gonna flip it like this. Dipper always goes down when you're bottom dead center. Well, it goes down anytime, because that slings oil around your block. But I'm just basically, that is not on there correctly at all. There we go. I have small hands and fit my fingers out behind here. Hold the rod while I tighten up these threads just a tiny bit on each side until I know it's grabbing. Ugh. Should be good. We're bottom dead center, so if that rod cap does come off and it's threaded anyway, it won't really go anywhere. It's alright. I'm just gonna tighten these up. I try to be equal on them. So I do a few threads here, a few threads there. You know, if I want to speed run them, I could do both my hands same time, but it's kind of a struggle. I'm only hand tightening them because I'm checking clearances. That's all I'll be doing in this video. It should be, there we go. I hand tighten them as much as possible, even though I do have oily hands. And there should be no crack. I mean, there is a little crack up here, but that's because it isn't torqued down fully. There is not a crack at the bottom. That one is seamless. Just through my goggles. Just wiping my hands real quick. Alright, so we have this camshaft and crankshaft holder from OMB Warehouse. Basically, it's just gonna slide on the crank like that. There's also a hole for it to hold your your cam, but we don't have that in right now. We're focusing on that last. We're just gonna slide our valve cover bolt into here. I mean, I think you need to use that stud too in here, but I don't personally. I can't get mine out of my freaking side cover. Sorry. Let's tighten this up. Sorry that the camera is like sideways. Tighten that up. Yet again, I'm just hand tightening. Most people will tighten this down, but I do not want to break this crankshaft holder because it is my only one, and I do not want to get a new one. I'm using my flywheel bolt as a spacer because this bolt hole is a little shallower, so you do need a spacer. The flywheel holder works perfectly. But look at the crankshaft play from when I land these bolts. That means that's how much play there is when the side cover is on versus off. So it is very important to use this tool or a cut side cover while you're doing your clearancing. So we're just gonna install this like so. Try to make sure the bolt is straight. It's literally like the perfect size too. This bolt does not come off. Alright, she's in there good. Lube the cylinder wall a little bit, you know. She feels nice. I'll wipe the hands down again because I'm going to be touching my feeler gauges. Those are already oily, but Might as well wipe the current oil off. So, if you don't know what feeler gauges are, basically, I don't really know how many there is, but there's like so many different gauges, and each of them have their own size on them. Each of them have their own size. This one is a 0.035, so it's 35 thousandths. We are looking for 3 thousandths, so we have to go way over here. And there we go, 0.030 if you guys cannot see it. This is what we're looking on all moving parts. Sorry. We're looking for this much clearance on all moving parts. So I'm gonna try to get the best angle possible, but I kind of need to see better than you guys do to make sure the clearance is perfect. I'll do a demonstration. So basically we're just gonna set it where our dipper would be hitting the block, and we're just gonna make sure that our dipper has that much clearance. It seems like our dipper is struggling a tiny bit, so we will have to take a tiny bit more out in the front. At the top, basically up here. Now we need to check. We definitely do have 30 thousandths here, so we do not have to touch this rod bolt anymore. I might go over it one more time, just because my trust issues, but I will let you guys know. For our cylinder, we definitely have a lot more clearance. Sorry for the bad angle, guys. I'm just trying to make sure I can get in there and look. I have that 30 thousandths clearance at the top of the cylinder now, which is a-okay to me. Might need to take a tiny bit more off, but it'll do that when we sand her up and clean her up, make sure it's all good. Doesn't feel like it's hitting right now, but yeah, it definitely does. I can hear it, so I will have to sand that down. And we will have to do the bottom of the cylinder as well, and as well as the crankshaft journal, which I can show you guys here. Let me just get this out of the bag. So my cam, bad angle, my cam, we're most likely gonna have to take like half of this journal out, like just right out the top, which is gonna be a struggle, but might as well clearance the block and get the block clearance before we start on the cam. I'm taking my time because I'm kind of scared to go too deep in the piston, but after hearing some stuff on that, as long as I don't pass the rings, it'll be alright, and the rings will be like right here, So personally, I think I'll be okay. Hopefully we can just send it and it'll start. This isn't going to be the only video I post on my YouTube. I might post some more videos. If you guys like this video, go in the comment section, show me some love. I'll probably post more, but definitely want that motivation to sit here with a camera strapped to my chest. I'd much rather be doing it without the camera. Yeah, the piston definitely, I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's definitely a little bit of grab right there, so I'm gonna have to sand that down. Catch you guys in the next video. This is gonna be the end of this video. Just another step of clearing. This probably my 3rd or 4th time, and I'm gonna do it like 3 or 4 more times. And that's not including the dipper as well, so I mean, it's a lot of work. I don't know. Catch you guys later.